All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Friday Mastermind. Every Friday, we're here to mastermind with leaders. Sometimes it's loan officers, sometimes it's managers of loan officers, sometimes it's authors. But today it is James Duncan. What's up, James?
What's up, Big Dave? Always,
I
always glad
will.
to have conversations with you guys.
Yeah, we're glad. Well, I'm going to bring you formally on stage in a minute, but first, as my co-host today, Deborah Bird. I don't know where Todd is. I thought Todd was going to be here, but maybe not. Uh,
Slacker, slacker. I
he's
haven't heard
probably on
Big
a piano
Dave.
concert or a football game.
Oh gosh, yeah, he would be wearing his disgusting Philadelphia Eagles gear to rub in for us Dallas fans. But I haven't heard Big Dave in a while. I've heard Big Red, but I haven't heard Big Dave. So that's a new one, James.
I don't think I have ever heard that before, but I'll take it.
Oh, okay, I like it. Big Deb energy and Big Dave. There you
Let's
go.
go. So, anything else you want to say to frame the call? It does look like Todd is going to be here. Yep, here he
There he
comes.
is.
But anything else you want to say, Deborah, just to set the table?
No, I think this is a great piggyback conversation from our Tuesday interview that Todd and I did with Jeremy Forcier. So if you guys haven't checked that out, we'll make sure it goes in the chat. I highly recommend you go back and watch that one. And better late than never, Todd. Way to go, slacker. Good
Well, you called
morning.
me out for being late. Like no one would have known had you not said
Oh,
that. But that was an excellent interview we did with Jeremy. I've got lots of follow-up and feedback and comments on that. And one of the things that I really took away, Jeremy, Dave, and I were all at Slay with Shay, and Jeremy got up on stage and he talked about scripting, and he talked about the fact that it's not about scripting. It's about being confident in what you say and saying it authentically to yourself. And so you and I probably later on should talk a little more about that. But super excited to be here and see James again. And sorry I was late.
No, no problem, Todd. So guys, that title for the call with Jeremy Forcier, who, what, and how to win right now in this market. Part of that was preparation for Scriptapalooza. So on October 1st, we're going to be doing Scriptapalooza. We're going to have Phil M. Jones, author of Exactly What to Say, as really the facilitator and the coach. Todd and I will be there as kind of like the co-host. Deborah is going to be one of the rock stars. So we've got six rock stars. Deb, we need to know what you're going to cover. But so far, what we've been doing is like we've been asking loan officers, like if you had Phil M. Jones workshopping a script and a conversation right now, what would it be? And what comes up the most is I need help getting more meetings with realtors. So like how to get meetings with new realtors. We also hear how to be more valuable with realtors so that they are introducing you more often with more confidence and more value. And then Nicole Ruth, she's one of the rock stars. She's like, hey, I want to talk about how to get help people get clarity. You know, how to get home buyers to get clear and confident and fired up to get in the market. So far, it's most people want to hear that. We're also hearing a lot of people say, hey, I want to hear how to get after my database. Like it's realtors and refis. So we're going to cover that too. But let us know in chat, whether you watch this on Facebook or Zoom, if there was one or two conversations and scripts that you wanted to workshop, let us know what those are. And one, we'll cover it a little bit today. And then two, we'll make sure that's a topic on October 1st. Remember, sign up for that. It's at the top of savageinsights.com. So if you go to savageinsights.com, my LinkedIn tree, it's up top there. It's also all over social media. And it doesn't matter where you sign up, just get signed up.
And
So
it's on a different day of the week too, isn't it? Is it a Thursday that it's on? So just know it's not our normal Tuesday or Friday.
yeah, yeah, you do need to sign up just for that. And it is October 1st, which I'm trying to see what day of the week that is. And
I
that
think it's a
is
Wednesday.
a Wednesday. So
Oh, Wednesday.
the and it's yeah. So hey, Deborah, before I introduce James, because you have so much history with James, I'd love for you to why don't you and I co-introduce James? Why should loan officers, leaders, and managers want to hear from James Duncan right now?
Well, I think he has a unique perspective where he's worn almost every single hat in the mortgage industry, from being an originator, an educator, an advisor, learning the tech tools. So he's been in the trenches with you guys, and then he's also been from the corporate kind of C-suite level. He's also felt the pains. I call it a shit sandwich, where you're getting from the top down, and then you have LOs that are constantly asking for things that they sometimes use or don't use. And so now that he's independent, it's even more reason to just lean in, because now he kind of has that freedom to be able to speak and really hone in on whatever from an executive level, what your needs are, and then also from bigger teams. So I'm excited to have you on, James.
Thanks, Deborah. And I'm about to send you a contract to hire you to introduce me everywhere I go because that was I was really impressed with that guy you were just talking about.
Well,
Yeah.
nothing like being put
I
on
want to
the
meet him.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she didn't know that was coming her way, but I'm going to do my introduction. And some of the things she said, I think, aligned with how I would introduce James. But I mean, he has been head of marketing of large mortgage companies. We had a lot of tenure in working together when James was head of marketing for Thrive, and then lower. But to Deborah's point, he also produces. So he knew how to be a loan officer. He knew how to be very strategic at the highest level. I would also say I work with a lot, we've got over 165 different lenders that we work with. So I know a lot of head of productions. I know a lot of head of marketings. James is among the best of the best. I mean, he really did a great job of getting adoption of our technology. He knows how to get technology adopted by loan officers. He knows like what's a marketing and sales crutch and what's a marketing and sales best practice tool and platform. So he's someone that I think brings a lot of value. If you're a loan officer watching this, I would say forward this to your C-suite. Like you're going to get value. If you're a C-suite executive or a branch manager or a regional, I think we're going to really speak directly to you because James has that experience. So James, let's tee it up around like we're pivoting markets. Realtors
Yep.
matter more than ever, and our
Mhm.
audience are primarily local referral-based mortgage professionals who need to kill it with realtors and builders, but the market's pivoting and refis are starting to come.
Mhm.
So what are your thoughts on this market and what's noise and what's signal?
Well, I think it's a great transition. Obviously, it's a little bit of a burden kind of being lifted from people's shoulders with rates trending down, and they have been for a few weeks, I guess you could say, for or maybe a couple months, depending on what you're looking at. But it's one of those things where this is what everybody should have been preparing for. And it's time when things were a little bit slower. That was the time to really beef up, not shrink back your social media game. It was the time to really dive in and do a lot of those preventive maintenance things or tasks that you always need to be doing with your database and your CRM and making sure that you are prepared for when this moment arrived. Well, guess what? The moment has arrived. And if you haven't been doing all those things, you're not out of luck. Like the window isn't completely closed on you, but you're a little bit behind the eight ball if you haven't been prepping for this moment and doing all the prospecting that you should have been doing and doing all the preventive maintenance I was just talking about. So there's still time to catch up, but that window is closing. And there's some folks out there that if you do nothing starting today, and if you have done nothing prior to today, that there's some folks out there that are going to eat your lunch. So I've been working with a handful of clients, and one of the things that I've been working on a little bit more limited scale with some folks because it is so specific to how they built their business is leveraging the power of AI. Like you hear that all the time. Leverage AI and figure out ways to do it. And it's more than just, hey, ChatGPT, create for me a 30-day content calendar. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. But there's so much more available to really assist you and help you when it comes to leveraging the power of AI. So, I mean, there's a whole roadmap that we can get into, and I'm sure that we will. But the bottom line right now is that speed beats perfection, and the speed to execute on a plan And a well-organized plan is what's really going to help you differentiate right now from your local competition, who's still kind of sitting around waiting, twiddling their thumbs, waiting for rates to continue to get better.
Yeah. And here's what I want to do, guys. So I did an informal poll via text with a dozen-ish people that I know that are winning in this market, like some of the best mortgage advisors in America. And I asked them, how many refis have you done over the past few weeks? You know, how many have you put into your pipeline? And I have answers like 14 over the past 2 weeks. I've got seven. I have four. And you know what? I've got someone, and I'm not going to start calling out names, that are at 71 refis over the past couple of weeks, 15, 21. So, first thing I want to do, if you're on this call right now, how many refis have you taken apps on right now? Put that in chat. I want to get a feel for where we're at on this call. So please, guys, the more this is a mastermind, the more of you that participate and put in a number here, the more value it is for all of us. So we've got a three. Who else? Come on. And there's no, if it's zero, that's okay. We're not going to judge you. Uh, well, you may not want to put in a zero. You know, maybe you should keep that to yourself. No, I'm just kidding. We got a five. Do we have anybody in the double digits? Do we have anybody that can beat five? Where are you at? I also asked people, what percentage of your database do you think is eligible for a refinance? I had one person who said 30%. I think that might be a little high. It trusted you guys. We manage the biggest database in mortgage because we have a lot of very large lenders that we manage their data and we give them refi alerts. And I think is it 400,000 alerts that we've given. I'm going to be interviewing Andy Zeman next Tuesday. He's going to be sharing how he's winning with refis and realtors. He's like an 80+ million dollar producer, and he's going to tell like how is he going from alerts to you know an application. James, what do you think the number is? Like what portion of a database, or how do you like if you were well, you are head of marketing and now you're
Mhm.
like a fractional CMO. How do you bring leadership to a company right now as a head of marketing?
Well, it depends on the audience I'm talking to. If I'm talking to a head of marketing, SVP, VP of marketing, what I'm going to tell them to do is to do this on behalf of their loan officers, and that is go into the CRM and just do a quick scrub across all of the client records that exist in the database. If you're capable of doing this at a global level, and just pull very basic data, no MPI other than name, but I mean, but that's not MPI. But just pull some very basic data on the client, the prospects that they've been talking to, whether they're in the pre-approval process or just a lead, and pull their name. And you don't need to worry about their contact information yet, but pull out their name, the price point of where they might be shopping, if they've been already been had a soft pull or been self-graded their credit, get that, and that's in the notes. Also get like the city and state, and just get those four basic things. Pull that out, extract that information into a CSV, and then that sets up the one of the keys for the prompt that you can build to do a scrub that will give you everything that will basically give you the roadmap of how to prioritize who you should be calling first and who you should be out and even be able to tailor messages that are customized to that person, whether it's sending it to them in a really quick email, doing a video script for that person, or doing an SMS text message, whatever, however you're going to send the outgoing comms. ChatGPT can help you build that. You just need to know how to ask the right questions and structure the prompt in such a way that AI, whether it's Perplexity or Claude or ChatGPT, is kind of my go-to. How those LLMs are going to be able to help you structure what that workflow looks like and make it vastly simpler for you to know who you need to be following up with on a daily basis and what you need to be saying.
Yeah, we might have to break. Anybody want to get into more details on what James just said? You guys have been pretty quiet in chat. Deborah or Todd, anything you want to say so far, or anything you want to make sure we ask James?
I mean, I feel like that could be in itself a mastermind class that you just said that we could break down and give a playbook on. So we may have to get that scheduled, Dave.
I think we could get into a little bit of that today, James. I think James
Sure.
can provide some value, and I know you put some type of a document together that's going to cover some of the things that you're talking about.
Mhm.
Also, I want to make sure everyone knows how to, as a mortgage coach, deliver what I'd call is like a world class uh, rate and term refi experience. I don't know if I should say it publicly like this because I think Jeremy would share. Like at the Shayla Gifford event that Todd and I were at, Jeremy was sitting behind his laptop and he was creating rate and term refi mortgage coaches and literally taking apps as he was at an event. I don't know exactly how many loans he took. Did Jeremy share on Tuesday how many refis he's done lately or what he's doing to get refis?
He
Todd and
shared that
Deb?
he shared he's being very targeted. He said he's not sending an email to his whole database and creating a bunch of calls from people who want to refi who can't. He said he's going through and he's being very targeted. It's kind of like what James was talking about, a prioritization,
Yeah.
and to making sure that he's reaching out to people who actually can benefit from a refi. And so I think that that's one of the key pieces. And I picked Jeremy's brain, right? He's in California, he's high dollar, right? My team in Arizona, we have lower dollars. So we've got less refi opportunities because we need rates to move more for it to make sense. But I do say this, right? I think one of the missing pieces for a lot of loan officers right now, and I was going to say a lot of you, or it's really a lot of us, right? I include myself and my team in there, is that again we got to still remind the people who don't have the savings today that rates are on the move, right? They heard about the Fed yesterday, they've been hearing about it for a month, and the biggest thing that you have to be careful of is that they don't fall to someone else's clickbait. I've given the example a couple times now. I had someone who reached out to me who is a personal friend who had jumped in on a refi because he got something in the mail, had the company name of the mortgage company on the outside that he thought they actually were associated with us, my team, and they were going to charge him 4.558 points for a mediocre rate. So he thought the rate was good, but then he got a $25,000 loan fee for it. And so your job is you owe it to your clients to make sure that you've educated them on the fact that you have their back. Even if you didn't give them that script up front of, hey, my clients don't ever have to worry about what happens when the Fed lowers rates because I'm proactively watching it for you, or whatever your script version of that's going to be. But the bottom line is that there's such opportunity out there. And a member of my team got one where he called someone, her name is Erin, say, Erin, hey, we're not quite there yet. We haven't hit your rate. And she's like, oh, well, my situation's changed and I actually need to do a cash out refi. So he got the loan because he did what we coach our team to do, which is what we're coaching you to do, is just keep in touch with people, regardless of whether they're there now or not. So if you're one of those people that's got the single digit refis right now, you probably do have some that are coming up, hopefully in the next 30 days to 6 months, but you have to be coaching them that have their backs now more than ever before they get distracted and get sucked into some high cost loan that they're never going to recover from.
So Dave, I do remember that Jeremy said once he made his list, his goal was to contact 3 a day. And then I was on a webinar with Carl White, and he had stated a stat that I was completely blown away by. But he said 40% of the transactions from the first half of this year were refis. 40%.
Hmm.
I thought that was a
Yeah.
lot.
No, yeah, we have a post trust engine and I'm writing some article, but we have a post right now where applications and refis have just like over the past week, guys, they're in the money, hundreds of thousands of them, many of them in your database are there. First of all, if you don't have the new Mortgage Coach app download that today. You can go to any app store, download Mortgage Coach app. We are alerting everybody, hey, here's your refi, call this person. And we're giving you a text and an email to call that person. And then you can also create the Mortgage Coach from the Mortgage Coach Next Gen app. So make sure you guys download that. I'll maybe give you a 1 minute demo at some point in the call on that. All right. And remember, if you have questions for James, ask James any questions you have. So James, so I know you did some prep. You came here ready
Mhm.
to give people some ideas, walk us through a bit of a playbook. Let's let's go through the James Duncan, pretend that you are the chief marketing officer of the Mortgage Coach Nation right now and school us up, bro.
All right, cool. Well, I'm going to start with something that is probably going to be a rudimentary for any of you who have really dove into using ChatGPT or any kind of LLM. But for those of you who haven't, this is for you, and I'm popping it into the chat right now. This is kind of the framework. I'm not the only one who says this. This is kind of an assimilation of a lot of other sources and people that I follow. This is just kind of my amalgamation, if you will, of just kind of the right way to think about the hierarchy of a prompt. Because the way you have to treat AI, any kind of AI platform, you have to treat it as the most, I'm not going to say intelligent, but the most knowledgeable research assistant that you have ever had access to. You treat it like that, and you treat it like, and you treat the back and forth like a conversation that you're having with a human being, like the conversation we're all having right now, and that will really transform kind of how you do it. So there's seven steps in there, or seven keys to this particular hierarchy. But this is kind of the um, the mode that I follow, and I'm not a firm believer in formulas or formulaic writing, but these general categories will help you ask better questions and develop and build better prompts. So the first thing that I want to point out is goes back to what I was saying before about you need to make sure that you know how to scrub your database and you know how to find the details or find the information that is going to be most important to you. So what you should do is go into your CRM, whatever it is. You should have the ability to pull certain kinds of reports, just basic reports, not necessarily loan level data or anything like that, but you should be able to do some kind of filter, especially if you have some of the more popular, more well-known CRMs that are out on the market. If you don't know how to do what I'm about to recommend you do, get with your marketing team or whoever is the admin for your CRM and say, hey, I need to pull this specific kind of report with this data. Can you show me how to do it? And then you'll know how to do it from here on. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna want to pull a download of a CSV file that has just those four criteria that I listed before: their name, the price point that they're shopping for, if they've graded their credit, or if you've done a soft pull, or if you have an idea of where their credit is, rate them for that, and then the date of their the last interaction that you had with them. So look through your tracker, see when was the last time you had a phone call or an email or any kind of interaction with them. And what you're going to do with the CSV that you pull is you're going to filter it for the most recent 60 days. So less than or equal to 60 days in the past. You pull that, whatever that number is, 100, 1,000, depending on how well you prospect. You want to get that. That's going to be home base for you. That's going to be your primary. And what you're going to do with that CSV is you're then going to use that hierarchy that I just put into the chat, and you're going to build a prompt. Now I've got the text for you that you can use, and I'm going to include it in a document that Dave and the team are going to be sharing either in the chat or in a follow-up. But we'll get it to you somehow. But this is Dave. You okay if I go ahead and share my screen?
Yeah, yeah, go for it. Remember,
Okay.
guys, we're going to give you a link to this. If you're watching this on YouTube, down below, we will have one link that's a housing dot link link. And within that link, you'll have the Jeremy Forcier link that we mentioned. You'll have a link to the document that James is going to go through right now, and any other links that are mentioned during today's call.
All right. So we're sharing now. So I'm going to show you, just kind of give you a quick rundown of exactly how I would structure this prompt. If I'm the loan officer and I'm going through these steps, this is how I would have built it out. So the first thing you see up at the top, this is I used ChatGPT to build me a list of fake client names, fake client data, just so I could use this for an example, and I'll show you what the output looks like in a second. But this is basically all I needed. So I've got name, last contact date, the home list price of what they're shopping for, what their credit band is, and also the city. I can't remember if I mentioned that before. But you don't need state, but I would recommend that you keep this local to start. You can expand it later. But this is the CSV. So we're pretending that this is the CSV that I downloaded out of my CRM. So here's the prompt that I built. And following that same format of role and context, tone, background data, task description, conversation history, define the output, check for understanding, all that stuff. So here is this first part. This is me kind of, I didn't follow that recipe in the exact same order, but all of the components are there. So starting off is this first part of the prompt using the uploaded CSV, which is the we'll say it's the one from my CRM. Act as a marketing operations assistant. That now you can get as verbose as you want in your description of the role you want them to take. Like you can get really, really expanded. I prefer simpler is better, and the less that you try to manipulate the output, the better. So I just said marketing operations assistant, provided in the CRM, our name, phone, last contact date, less than or equal to 60 days, price. You can eliminate phone, credit band, and city. Um, then the next step is filter to contacts whose last contact date is less than or equal to 60 days. Anytime you see one of these little squiggly brackets that's in this prompt, that is a portion of the prompt for the user, meaning you. When you do this, that is for you to change that data. So you can set that time frame to whatever time frame you want. If you want to expand it to 90 days, to 270 days, do it. But 60 days is what I picked for this example. If fewer than 100, that's referring to the number of contacts. If fewer than 100 exist, return all eligible. So you can do this with any size database. Next step, this is where we start getting into specific about the task. I want you to compute P&I only with the standard mortgage amortization formula for a 30-year term, 10% down, base rate of 6.75, which is about what rates were at in the industry about 60 days ago, back in mid to late July. Override if I provide it, and scenarios of a 50% or 75, or excuse me, 50 or 75 bips, round the payment to the nearest dollar. Next up, this is where your database and all of the work that you put into maintaining it previously, this is where that stuff comes in really, really is very, very critical. So this part of scoring, this is where you're setting up basically a metric of how you want ChatGPT to rank those clients based on who you should contact first. And you can give it whatever kind of scoring model you want. This is just the criteria that I think is most important. So scoring on a scale of 0 to 100, 60% of the score is going to be related to a larger payment delta, meaning how much will has their mortgage payment changed or dropped since the last time I spoke to them, whether it was in July or August. How much has it dropped? Then the 20% ranking or 20% weighting to recency, where the score, where basically we're talking, it's a formula that you can build in, where we're talking about the last time that I spoke with them. And then another 20% rating for their credit and using either excellent, basically get some full credit, good, fair, poor, or unknown. Then here's an exception rule. So if we're talking about if the result of the calculations is going to result in a jumbo loan, then I got an exception built in for that. So jumbo rule, if loan amount is greater than whatever the current conforming limit has to be. So I'll just pop in like what this year's conforming limits are. So you can use this next year if you want. Then I'm going to label it jumbo. But this whole part of the section that I've highlighted is to determine what's going to be the best based on these metrics alone. What's going to be the best loan program alternative for that particular consumer? If I don't already know, I might have an idea since I've had a conversation with them, but that's just to give you a suggestion, not a hard and fast rule of squeeze them into a conventional loan if that's not what's in their best interest. And then you define the outputs right here. So this output and the way that the reason there's those horizontal or those vertical lines right there is because ChatGPT knows that I'm going to convert this data into a CSV file. So that's where I give them that's how I identify the column breaks. So my output is going to be a table sorted by priority where it's going to rank the most critical consumers or clients for me to talk to this week or Monday morning, first thing, or even this afternoon if I want to call them and say, hey, let's get you going over the weekend. So this is going to rank based on the weighting that I gave it up above. And then I give it some additional rules. No rate quotes, compliant, safe language. If a field is missing, set conservative defaults, lower the score, blah, blah, blah. No internal reasoning, meaning I don't want it to go outside. I don't want it branching out and getting creative and going outside the scope of this project as I've defined it. One of the last things that I didn't do in this prompt, but you can do, is to ask a final question of, do you have any, ask any clarifying questions you might have about what I'm asking you to do. That you should do that with all of your prompts, no matter what, just because that has been one of the most impressive ways that I have learned more about how an AI model thinks and how it acts, how it behaves. And so when you ask that question, it gets into the reasoning and the logic that it's using in order to come up with the analysis. And that allows you to dive even deeper. But it also takes an added investment of time. So I didn't do that. So after I put in that prompt and after I attached the CSV from my CRM, it thought for 90 seconds and it spits out a ranked table. So let me bring up that table for you real quick. So the ranked table,
By the way, James, someone said I can't copy and paste info from that chat. Is that something you're going to put in your document? Can
yes,
you put that
yeah,
prompt?
I'll
So,
add the entire prompt that I was just showing everybody as an amendment to or as an addendum to the document that I already shared with you, and you can reshare the new one.
okay. And by the way, guys, if you're watching this again on YouTube, go to the link down below. This will be one of the links within that main link. And then I have shared that in chat. So while that prompt is not available yet, James will put that in that document. So click and check it out. And by the way, let me know what you guys think of this so far. Give us a little reaction. Todd, what are your thoughts so far? You digging this?
I'm digging it. Definitely overwhelmed. I got my glasses on. I'm looking in there and I'm like, holy smokes, like what a well thought through, uh, you know, detail by detail prompt. And so I think that's one of the things when we all think about AI where we get overwhelmed with is really
Mhm.
how do you ask it better questions? I led a mastermind with a group of realtors in Denver yesterday, and we were talking specifically around AI. And prompting was the number one thing that came up. So I think that's a great example for us, James. And the one thing I'll throw out there, the one thing it's really helped me do, right? I mean, Deborah and I, when we're teaching exactly what to say, it's the number one cornerstone for effective communication is curiosity is the fuel for great conversations. And I realize it's made me think more critically, ask better questions to try to figure out how to prompt better. Because every time I ask a prompt, then it leads me to that next question that gets better and better as I go.
Yeah. Hey, James, what was that prompt again? I want to make sure everybody got it where it was something about is there anything I'm missing or any advice for prompts? Could you give that one more
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, that is that's basic. That's the hierarchy that I put into the chat. I understand
No, but that
somebody said
question that you didn't put that you said I put in a lot. What was
ask any
that?
clarifying questions.
Got it. And I would tell you guys another one I've been doing lately that's been really tuning up some of the content I'm creating. I'm a big fan of the book Challenger Sale. And I believe that the philosophies in that book are some of the most powerful, influential sales and marketing content. So I'll go whatever process I'm going through to create a message, or it could be a LinkedIn post, could be a message. And then sometimes, I don't do it all the time, I'll go rewrite this, but infuse some of the best practices from the book, The Challenger Sale. And then sometimes it will like actually call out the Challenger Sale, and I'll be like, no, no, no. I don't want you to call out the book. I want you to use the best practices and philosophies for the book to update the tone of this message to make it more compelling and to be a better leadership message. So, guys, how you use prompts, things like what James said, things like what I just told you, will help you get more meetings. They'll help you generate more apps. And guys, and they will help you convert more business. So, James, thanks for putting that prompt down there.
Absolutely. And one of the things that's important to note is that the model that you select to run this is going to be really important for you. So I think I'm sharing my screen again, but just know that if you've got access to anything other than even in the free model, you should have access to a couple of different models. If you do the $20 a month version, you'll have access to everything that you're seeing here on the screen because that's the model, that's the subscription I have. If you want it to think deeply, leave it on thinking. If you want it to go quick, then switch one of the other ones. If you want it to decide which model it's going to do, switch to auto. And it'll, based on the prompt, it'll switch to whichever model is going to be the most logical one for it to use for that
Yeah,
uh,
and real
specific
quick,
need.
if people could in chat, I would love to know, as many people on here, what is your top two go-to AI platforms?
Hmm.
Because I don't know too many people that are only using one AI. I do think some people are, but like, and if you just have one, just put one, but like Michael, Gemini only. Keep going, guys. What are your top AI platforms? Todd, Whoosy. And by the way, I love Whoosy for the same reason Todd does, is that it has all three, it has three models. And it will, it's made for realtors. So it was designed for the real estate industry. So Paul, GBT and Perplexity. By the way, my answer is Whoosy, ChatGPT, and Perplexity, and I use them a lot.
Hmm.
Uh, I use them all day. Like I don't think an hour goes by where I am not using an AI platform. Um, Come on, guys. Only a few of you have let us know. So okay, we've got Claude, Manus, Otter. I use
Manus AI is one of my I'm geeking out over that hard.
Mm,
It is a really cool platform.
actually I've heard of it, but I don't know enough about it. So thank you, Deborah.
yeah. I have it
All
send
right.
me automated
Deborah's
research.
always on the cutting edge.
By the way, what is it that you like about Manus, Deborah, real quick?
The research
Hmm.
that it could do that, and it's a deeper level, it's creditable with sources. And I mean, I play
And
around with both.
you like it? Have you done much with Perplexity?
Yes, I
And you
like
think
Manus.
you like it better?
Hmm. But I use
Oh,
both. Like sometimes I'll put the same prompt in both and see what the output is.
all right.
Michael just asked
Okay,
a
I got
really good
another one
question.
I gotta check out.
So why
On
so
that
many?
note,
Why do I need to learn more than one? I feel like too, once you start learning, guys, you get these AI ads constantly. So I'm constantly learning all these different tools and I'm like, oh, there are so many, Michael.
Yeah.
my
Well,
my
the answer
response
is
is
some are better for different tasks
Hmm.
than
right.
others.
Right.
And yeah.
My personal answer to that, Michael, is number one, that's a fantastic question. Number two, let me alleviate some of that pressure in that you don't have to. You don't have to adopt multiple platforms. You don't have to go out and learn everything, all the new tricks and toys that are out there, because there's no way that you will be humanly possible that you will be able to keep up with all of it and become an expert at all of it. It's not going to happen. So what you do is you find what works for you, you experiment with it, you become a pro user of it, and don't even worry about the rest. But when it comes to stuff like this, once you get to a point where you're proficient with one tool and you want to learn another one, go pick it up and like ask around, ask folks to know, ask Deborah, ask Dave, ask me, and we can give you suggestions. But I'm exactly like Deborah and how she's leveraging it, and that I like to put the same prompt into different models because each one of them have their own functionality, their own way of handling prompts and delivering information, and that they structure the generated results vastly differently too. And so I like seeing where there's correlations and also where they disagree if I'm asking for something that's a little bit more subjective. So it's really just it's how you use it best is really the best way to phrase it. And you're welcome. So. Just to kind of put a pin in the prompt of what I was doing. I know I've been sharing the screen for a long time, but this is the output that resulted. And so you can see so if anybody wondering who Riley Anderson is, he's not a real person. So don't ask me for my database because I'll give you a whole bunch of fake data that you won't be able to close. It's ranked them, it's stacked ranked all of the contacts that were in the CSV before based on who is going to be the most important people for me to call right now. And it ranked Riley and also that was one of the categories was give me a reason why I should call them right now or why Riley. So large payment delta recently engaged. So the little familial status thing there going on there. excellent credit. He's in jumbo category. 20 word SMS opener. So it's giving me some recommended text. It's identifying the local market where he is or the town where he is. So this is not something where I don't ever recommend that you simply take a suggested text that you get from ChatGPT or any LLM and just do a copy and paste job into whatever SMS texting platform you have because it's going to look like that. There's a couple of things where it's looking a little wonky, but also this if you do that, your text to that person is going to scream AI to them and they're going to ignore it, they're going to junk it, they're never going to talk to you. So this is just giving you a guideline for what you possibly can say, or kind of the way that you can open that door to book another call and complete the application or get them going down the road. So this is not for this me showing this on the screen is not to say you need to copy this to the letter. This is me showing you what's possible, and so you can take that prompt, tweak it, and make it your own. As a matter of fact, that's basically how I came up with the prompt that I used because there's a lot of people that I follow who have given other prompt ideas where I took that idea and I'm like, oh, I can use that. And I took it and made it my own.
I am
So I'm done
looking.
talking for a while. I've been talking a long time, sharing my screen for a long time. So somebody else talk.
All right, I will do some talking. So one thing I'm going to do, uh, click now on this rate and term mortgage coach. So I want you guys to click on this because what James just did is he showed you how to use AI to prioritize a database file. I want to do a little bit of workshopping on how to present options in the most effective way possible. And I also want to make sure as a mortgage coach, you guys know how to do it. So first of all, also real quick, I want to make sure that everyone knows how to about the AI feature. That one AI is built into Mortgage Coach now. So what's total cost mean? Um, what's what's the best option if I'm going to be in the home for 5 years? Again, make sure you know how to use that AI feature within Mortgage Coach. Um, I want to remind everybody that you can go to presentation and you can change, like if you just want to show two options to a consumer. Actually, I didn't check the third one. You just want to show two options, like just the monthly payment difference. You can show two options in internet time. You want to add another option, like it is best practice in most of Jeremy's total cost analysis, have three options. So he is showing an early payoff, like, hey, you can refinance and you can either pick the option with, and if you clicked on it, you'll notice that you can do live highlighting on this. So I've highlighted that option one, you can save $321 a month, or you can prepay, do the refi, prepay the mortgage by 321 and pay off the house in 23 years. So that is a best practice. And then what happens all the time when rates start dropping, people start saying, oh, I'm going to wait until rates get even lower. And again, you can add that option where you add another option that, hey, I can do that rate and term refinance for you when we get there. So let's lock in now and then we'll do the refi later. So I want to make sure that you guys know about that feature. By the way, if you have questions, put them down below. I also want to make sure you guys, everyone has downloaded the new Mortgage Coach Next Gen app. And by the way, guys, everyone has this. Even the broker edition, individual loan officers now have this presentation tab. Like I click on presentation. Now, unless you're an enterprise partner and we're managing your data, you won't have this little inbox tab, but you will have this presentation tab. And if you haven't downloaded it, literally download the Mortgage Coach app today, and it will tell you like, oh, hey, this rate and term refinance, uh, it's engaged with AI. And you can literally click on that and get a transcript of what was said. And you can see who's viewed it, when they viewed it, how many times they viewed it. And then my personal favorite feature of this new app, like if you've clicked on that app or that link that I put in chat, you could go into the new Mortgage Coach app and you can drive that live experience from the mobile app. So you can see what I'm clicking here on my mobile app, like right now, is driving that desktop app. And you can add a video from that app or an audio, and it has scripts. What to say when you text, what to say when you email. All Mortgage Coach users have this app now. Now, if you are an enterprise partner and we're monitoring your data and you click on inbox, we're going to give you those refi tabs. So you're going to start seeing more lower your monthly payment opportunities, but you're also going to see things like, oh, this person's eligible for a move up. So we're using data to identify who's most likely to move up, move down, debt call refinance, refinance, or scripts. So I just want to make sure if you don't have that app, download that app today. It's in all app stores.
So Dave, are
Deborah, is
you
that the
saying
first time
that,
you've seen?
well, my mind is thinking of what James had taught with, really finding your who, like who are your hot leads to go after. Essentially, if they have that app is showing them not only who your hot leads are, but it's also removing the friction of not knowing what to say. Correct? Like if I'm reading it correctly, you could open that up
Yeah.
and each morning, like during your power hour, it's like, there you go. You got to
Yeah,
start those people, right?
no
Yeah.
doubt. And again, this coming Tuesday, I'm going to have Andy Zeman, who
He's great.
works for a company that has the full Mortgage Coach next generation solution. And he's going to talk, and it won't just be about Mortgage Coach. It could be like, Andy, how are you winning right now in this market? And trust me, guys, this guy is winning. He is crushing it with realtors and refis. Todd, any thoughts you have before we go back to James? And remember, guys, if you have questions, put them in chat.
Well, I mean, I don't feel like I need to tell anyone they should have Mortgage Coach, but the bottom line is the app makes it that much easier, right? I think it's just such a great, such a great opportunity, and I think that's just one of those other things. To go back to the call from Tuesday with Jeremy, he talked about the fact that he's giving clients options, and so then Deborah and I kind of circled back around with the whole idea that when you give a client options, then they're choosing, right, without your opinion. I think I do know that we have to tell our clients teach our clients to make good financial decisions, right? You should give them what your opinion is, but I find that loan officers often make it the opinion of what you would do for yourself. And you do have to allow clients to choose to do what they want to do, but you have to present the facts. And so that's what the TCA is going to do. It's going to present the facts, and then they get to choose the option that meets their financial needs well. And so to me, it's always the whole idea of you're using data and financial knowledge to help separate out emotion during a financial transaction. And so, in the end, if they choose their option versus you telling them what they have to do or should do, then they're going to be happier with you. They think you're so much smarter because you let them choose what they wanted to choose, whether it was what you would have done or not.
Love that. By the way, there's a couple of questions in here. I'm not going to read the one by Chris Smith because it's a mouthful. But guys, check out what Chris Smith put in here. He had a question he would love to get. Oh, actually, he
I,
sent it
I
to.
responded to it.
Okay,
I,
good.
I responded. He asked about insurance and the fact that he's getting a lot of challenges with insurance being underdone, and it's a challenge. Depends on where you live, and so I threw into chat the insurance agent that I use. That's great. She's goes above and beyond and has great knowledge of the market. So if you're in one of the somewhere in the West Coast, she probably can serve you. But ultimately, yeah, it's a matter of I think part of your responsibility right now as a loan officer is when you're doing annual mortgage reviews for the people with the 3% mortgages, right? Which I know a lot of you aren't doing because you're like, they don't need me anymore. Guess what? They have referrals. And when Dave and I did our Impact 100 calling earlier this year, I found about 1 in 7 of my clients was actually thinking about moving this year who had a 2.5 to 3% mortgage. And so I actually then had them all do insurance reviews with Kelsey. Said, hey, I can't save you on your mortgage, but let me see if I can save you on your mortgage payment by helping you with insurance. And so she was able to help about 3/4 or more of the people switched over to her. So that just told me she's doing something right, shopping around with different places. So just something to keep in mind.
Love that. And then, by the way, Michael, I loved your comment about basic, taking basic in college. I took that class in 1984, so you got a couple of years on me. But in '84, I can remember taking that. I
Oh,
do remind people, guys, that one, ChatGPT has some great educational content. Whoosy, part of the offering, is really designed around realtors and loan officers. Not only does it have three different models built into Hoozy, but it also has an incredible library and community to learn how to use AI. I just put a link to sign up for Hoozy. So if you want to learn more about Hoozy, I
how
just
about
share a link in chat.
Hey, Dave, one of the things that came out of my conversation with the realtors in Colorado yesterday is one of them said he's really looking for a solution. He's a broker, leads a team of people, and he wanted a solution where he could just load in all of the documents into a system and have AI spit out for him any compliance issues or anything that was missing. And so I did reach out to Eric Post, and he put together a video for me to share with them on how Hoozy does that. So I think we got to get Eric
Oh,
back on here. And then I also want to highlight that Deborah did throw in self-serving a link to our upcoming virtual exactly what to say certification. And so, we went back to the part where we talked about Jeremy talking about how you have to converse in your natural voice. And that's really what the exactly what to say certification is about. And so Deborah and I decided we were tired of all your excuses. It's too far away. Hey, bring it to
Wow.
my town. Yeah, listen, hey, it is what it is. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Everyone complained. If you can bring it out to Tennessee, I'll come. If you can bring it up to North Carolina, I'm there. Well, guess what? We're bringing it to you. We're doing it virtual. And then, cost is always an issue. And so we literally lowered it to the minimum of what Phil requires us to charge to certify someone in exactly what to say. And so that is the price. And, it's going to fill up. So I'm excited. Got a lot of really cool people who have committed to come and be part of that virtually. It's going to be in December. So it's going to be a time of year where y'all got plenty of time. Don't plan that, instead of taking off early to go skiing, we're going to have you online with Deborah and I and a bunch of cool people virtually getting certified in exactly what to say.
right
Christmas will
on,
come
right
early.
on. Well, guys, we are getting down into the fourth quarter of today's mastermind. James, is there anything else that you came prepared that you just want to make sure, whether it's a loan officer, whether it's a head of marketing, whether it's a head of production, anything you want to make sure that you deliver today?
Well, from a tactical standpoint, Deb alluded to it just a second ago about when she was talking about the responses and that it's just suggestions that you need to it's to give you a guideline. ChatGPT can help with that too. And as you get more and more proficient with becoming more or better prompt, I'm not going to say prompt engineer as it's I think overused, but as you get better at asking the right questions, then you can start treating it. Just follow that format that I had back at the beginning of give it the persona that you want it to follow and tell it who you want it to act as and help it and use it to help come up with those scripting ideas, not the word for verbatim word by word script that you will use, but the scripting ideas. And then you take those ideas and you put it in your own words and you use your own tone and your own cadence and your way of speaking, because people can tell the difference. So that was a great suggestion. Second thing I'll point out is that for those of you who are watching on a desktop on Zoom, not on your phone, I popped the full Word document that Dave is also going to share in the YouTube replay. The full Word document is in the chat. If you can download it from there, if you're on a desktop, and you can download it. It's a Word document, so take it and make it yours. Like it's yours. It's yours to leverage. If you got any questions about it, I'm pretty easy to find on LinkedIn. Just hit me up and I'll help kind of guide you through something if anything gives you issues.
Loving it. So, link to the doc down below. James put a Word doc. James, if you could remember to put that full prompt in the Google
Mhm.
Doc. Paul, if
Yeah.
you could follow up, make sure that that gets done. If you
The Word
have
doc that I
questions,
put into the chat, sorry, Dave, the Word doc that I put in the chat, I added in the full prompt that I was showing on the screen. So that's in there
okay.
as well.
So Paul, if you could get that document so we have both the Google Doc updated and that doc, because we need a Google Doc. Well, I guess we don't need a Google Doc for housing.link. We could put a Word document in it, but we're going to do Google Doc because we are a Google shop here. I think Google Docs are pretty bitchin'. All right, Deborah, before we hand it off to Todd for the win by noon close, anything you want to ask, anything you want to say? Mrs. Bird.
Just that I think it's really important once you identify your who that you remind yourself to kind of lean in and think about what's going on in their world, not just from, a mortgage standpoint, but this is kind of that time of year where kids are back to school. It is football season, it's fall, they're getting ready for holidays, they may be getting ready for travel. Lord knows, maybe they're wondering, how am I going to pay for Christmas? So just social stalk them before you make the call. I find that that always makes it a little bit easier to have some talking points. But you always start with the who. Like, who are you speaking to? And then ask yourself, what matters to them? Like, what would be the most relevant before you go straight to, the pitch? Just, you got to build that connection and, maybe reignite that trust, and you want to flip that show me that you know me button. So it doesn't feel like the only time you're reaching out is when there's a benefit for you.
I love that. I love that. And by the way, guys, uncommon. Text uncommon. So even if you're already part of Savage Insiders, text the word uncommon to 949-799-0837. I just put it down below. Uh, Possibly today, we're going to be launching a new community within a community called Uncommon LO. This is going to be both a TikTok platform and Instagram. So all the videos will be less than 90 seconds. And we're going to be taking highlights from a lot of the long form content we create, from a lot of loan officers on how to be uncommon. And to me, what it means to be uncommon is, first of all, you're winning. You're closing a lot of loans. That's not the norm. Most loan officers are not having personal best. They're not doing more loans this year than last year. They're not achieving their goals. The loan officers that we, in the strategies we will be showcasing, will be winning and winning in a way that's future proof. Because that's another thing. I think a lot of loan officers are delivering old school customer experiences. They're using old school workflows. They're not using Mortgage Coach and tools like Mortgage Coach. So we're going to be showcasing strategies, scripts, and ideas to become that uncommon LO. So make sure that you text that number today with the word uncommon, and we will get you added to the list. And as we start posting, we'll give you an update on that. So Todd, what do you got for closing thoughts and how to win by noon?
Well, bottom line is this, is that we got a master class, right? Not just an average class. We got a master class from James on really some piece of tech, right? We all want to be better with AI. And so I would go back to the document. He provided it to you in many forms so that you can access it. And I would spend some time this weekend putting that into action, right? We're all looking for ways to save time. And unfortunately, in order to save time, you have to do, as Phil M. Jones says, the work before the work. And so he's given you how to create just a few pieces of data so that you can actually then have AI do the heavy lifting for you and then come out with a great result. And so bottom line is this, as Dave started off the call talking about these opportunities for refinances. And I think that you probably have a couple you still haven't identified, even those of you who really think you've gone through the data. And so I think that here we've got an opportunity now to go through leads. We got an opportunity to go through refinances and make some people happy. As always, I think this is a call that you have to listen to again, because I don't think that you could have understood what James did the first time. I know I will be listening to it again over the weekend as well and putting this into action with my team. And if you haven't downloaded the Mortgage Coach app, go ahead and do that. If you haven't gone over to ewtswithtoddandeb.com to check out the certification, we'd love you to do that as well. And James, as always, you crushed it. Thanks for being part of our community.
Thanks,
All
brother.
right, guys,
Good to be
we
here.
appreciate you. And by the way, you can go, even though we haven't started pushing videos quite yet, and sign up for Uncommon LO on TikTok and Instagram. And stay tuned. Some really bitchin' content, scripts, strategies, things to have an uncommon mindset, things to win in this market, and to do it in a way that's future proof. So check it out. James Duncan, always an hour with you is a blessing. Appreciate you, my brother.
My
And
pleasure. Thanks for having me on, Dave.
Deborah and Todd, until next time, have a great week, everybody, and have a great weekend.
Good
And
everyone.
good luck, whoever your team is, whether it's
The
college or NFL.
Longhorns.
The
Oh,
Birds. You're not the Cowboys this week, Deborah? I'm shocked.
yeah.
You know,
Well,
you had to go
there's
there.
a better chance of winning going with Longhorns.
Yep.
Yes.
Let's
Hey, we've been
go,
playing pretty
Archie
good though.
Manning. Let's let that. I want to see that Manning kid have a baller game.
Yeah, me
Yeah, let's
too.
go. All right, take care, y'all.
All right, all right, all right.
All right, all right, all right. I wonder who you are today. Let's go.